So Ed, I just wanted to give you the newest and latest update. We are running out of parts to put on this engine, so that's the good news. I have the new engine mounts mounted on both sides of the engine since the last video update. I have the exhaust manifold permanently mounted since the last video update. We have, I had to thread, this was a cast nipple right here, and it had, it only maybe had 3/4 of an inch in length. It originally had quite a bit more, but some of that had rusted away. So I ground that off flat and drilled and tapped that for a brass coupling, a brass barb. There's a brass barb under here. Also installed this water passageway. That's been installed. I installed the tack drive. Tack comes off the bottom. The distributor goes in the top here, and the water pump drives off of here. And so I've got that installed. Unfortunately, I had to remove the inspection plate in order to get that on. This was interfering. So now I've got to clean all of this off, all this gasket material off, and then redo that. The copper lines are clear coated, and so is the brass oil cooler. Your oil pump pumps oil up here into the oil cooler. Oil cooler then sends the oil back to the block right here. This is a water fitting, and this is the water out, which then goes into the manifold, and then from the manifold into the block, and out the head, back in the last pass on the manifold, and also from one of the other passes in the manifold, there's a fitting right here that will come around to here. And that will be, so you have some water comes from here, and you'll have additional water coming from here through another passageway, and that's what cools your exhaust gases before it goes out. So with all that, one last hurdle that we ran into, of course, on there's 6 studs on here that we had to, they're called step studs, so we had to find the step studs, and then we had to cut them off a 1/2 inch because we couldn't find the exact right length. And then we had to change this. The step was 3/8 of an inch on the studs we bought, whereas the original studs, the step was 5/16 of an inch. So I had to put each stud in the lathe individually and turn that step area down to 5/16. One last challenge on the exhaust manifold is we have a spinning fastener right here. So it's a fine thread. I actually had to order the helicoil for that. So we've got the transmission, of course, to clean up and install, and we have the carburetors over here ready to install, and we have the starter, the generator and starter sitting side by side over there, ready to install. So we are running out of parts. We are getting close. I actually also ordered you a new oil sender. I don't know if your gauge, I should check with you. If your gauge is manual or mechanical, you'll hook up a line to here. If your gauge is electric, I have a sender that I ordered today. This had a sender on it, and so I will put a sender back on this and send it to you that way. It also has a temperature sender up here. If you have a gauge with a bulb on it, ether bulb and capillary tube, then that will come out, and your ether bulb and capillary tube will go in there. So that's the latest on the engine. I don't think I've got anything holding me up from being able to run it on Friday, so that's my plan. And then once I've run it, we will send it your way. Thanks.